Okay, welcome everyone to Awesome Game Replays, episode 15. And this time we're checking out The Binding of Isaac, the ever-popular Binding of Isaac. This was released in 2011 as an indie game from a Game Crunch, or not Game Crunch, a Game Jam, in which a couple of the developers just kind of made a game suddenly, and it took off to be The Binding of Isaac, and this game was...
I didn't actually know that detail.
Yeah, I just saw that real quick here on some of the info. Just started out as an indie game and resulted in actually kind of rebooting the interest in the roguelike genre with how the game is kind of designed. So, like, in general, Binding of Isaac is described as a randomly generated action RPG shooter with roguelike elements. So
where did you pull that from?
This is from the
RPG
Gamepedia. This is the Gamepedia description.
I don't know about RPG, but the rest of it is pretty on point.
Like, I think what they're probably implying from RPG is just the fact that you have so many upgrades and
okay.
And as you go through, you get so powered up and almost feels like that, I imagine, but it has a lot of things that are happening to it, but instantly, like, you kind of see it and it looks like a just bizarre Zelda clone of some sort.
I mean, the original UI even kind of was a tribute to the first Zelda game as well.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, since you're already talking, I am joined by guest and player of the replay that we'll be checking out today for Awesome Game Replays 15. I'm joined by Blinge, so yeah, welcome, Blinge.
Hi there, I'm Blinge. Sorry, was I not supposed to talk until you introduced me?
No, there are no rules.
Okay.
No, that's perfect though. So yeah, you bringing us one run. It gets to the end of the game. Obviously, it's an all bosses run, and what else is special about the run that you're going to be showing us?
Okay, so in The Binding of Isaac, as of Afterbirth, which is the most recent kind of DLC expansion pack, you can kind of choose a path towards the end. It's kind of towards like a heavenly path or a kind of a hell path, and your resulting final boss depends on which path you take. And also, if you fulfill certain criteria on your way to the final boss, you can in fact face additional bosses and kind of a true last boss kind of deal, which is known as Mega Satan.
Wow.
As radical as that sounds.
That's pretty rad.
So I'll run through the kind of the hidden bosses I'm encountering. The first of all is the boss rush, which takes place if you complete all the floors up to floor 6 and beat the boss of floor 6, which is Isaac's mum. So if you beat her in under 20 minutes, you get to face the boss rush, which is kind of one room, and all the kind of first half of the game's potential bosses all kind of come at you in waves, 2 at a time.
Wow.
So yeah, I think you're rewarded with kind of 2 extra main items for that, and so the boss rush was added in kind of. Okay, I'll have to talk about where each thing was added into the kind of history of expansions and DLC kind of as we go, I think, because it's quite confusing. But after that, if you complete the next 2 floors, including the boss known as It Lives, in under half an hour as your total time, you get to fight another hidden boss known as Hush, which is arguably, people say it's the hardest boss in the game. And then after that point, I'll be able to kind of relax and take my time again. And then it's just the last 2 floors before Mega Satan, and that's it. I chose to do all bosses because it wasn't really a category I'd heard of or seen people talking about. People generally tend to kind of have an objective when they start a run, once they're kind of quite good at the game. It's like, oh, in this run, I want to beat the chest or the dark room, which are kind of final levels, and
or beat the game with like a certain character, that type
exactly,
of thing,
stuff like that.
right?
Well, the character I'm using is his name is just 3 question marks, or he's kind of colloquially known as the Blue Baby, and I think he's just kind of, it's implied that he's just Isaac but dead, and he can't he doesn't have red hearts, so it's like in Zelda, you have your hearts, and if they're depleted you can refill them with kind of heart drops, which are very commonplace, but the Blue Baby only has what are known as blue hearts or soul hearts, which are rarer, and once he loses one it's kind of permanently gone, like he loses the whole heart container, and so he can only get his health back by getting new blue hearts. It will make more sense as we play. I mean, do you follow?
Yeah. I think it makes sense.
Ordinarily, blue hearts or soul hearts kind of act as kind of armor, and they disappear once they're gone, and they can be additional health on top of red hearts.
Right.
The difference being that Blue Baby doesn't have red hearts. So, yeah. That's about it.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, we'll be touching on a lot of different things that are going on in this run. Obviously, yeah. So you got a lot of things, and so you kind of dived right into talking about some of those like advanced stuff, but. How does a typical Binding of Isaac run play out? I mean, obviously you have the randomly generated dungeons,
Of course, yeah. The whole game is procedurally generated. Which enemies you get, which bosses you get to face, which items appear, which kind of will inform your playstyle and how you approach challenges. It's because it's a roguelike, as you say, it'll be kind of different each time. The idea is generally just stock up on as many items as you can, kind of do min-maxing, try and extract coins from enemies or like bomb rocks to get additional items and coins, and then kind of power yourself up that way. So hopefully the idea is by the end of the game you're an absolute powerhouse.
Right. Okay, and then as we're going through, like I say, you'll probably have all sorts of little tidbits of info and stuff. So hopefully it's not only will it be a fun replay to watch, but we'll definitely learn some things about the game, and maybe some veterans and stuff maybe won't know it or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, hopefully.
Or something like that.
Yeah, your skill in Isaac, as well as coming from kind of general gaming like Twitch skill, dodging, stuff like that, or kind of the strong Isaac player has a kind of encyclopedic knowledge of all the items and potential situations they can be in, and how each enemy behaves and stuff like that.
That's a pretty strong element of roguelikes, I feel like, too, is knowledge. Like, knowledge is always like a huge thing when it comes to roguelikes. That actually makes you survive, lets you survive a lot longer. Personally, one of the roguelikes I played that's actually a roguelike was Ancient Domains of Mystery. And just that game has an incredible amount of knowledge that you can learn about what corpses you can eat to get a certain status effect, and what potion to drink in when to drink the orange potion. You have to drink the carrot potion in the orange room and get your eyesight better and all this.
Make your eyesight better.
Well, I guess carrots help out your eyesight.
Oh, I see. Yeah, help you see in the dark and all that. Is that a PC game? It sounds like it.
Yeah, it's on PC, and it's got a bunch of ports, and it's kind of an older title as well. It's been around for I think a decade or so, or longer than that. But just notoriously, I mean, just when I think of roguelike, to me that's it, and it's just it's like a never-ending journey to learn stuff about the game. And I think Binding of Isaac definitely does a good job aspiring to that breadth of knowledge, it seems, especially with how the game has evolved over the years, and how much they've added to it. It's pretty interesting, I feel like. And
It's
it's also a
evolved.
pretty popular game, and like a lot of people still play Isaac, and are still kind of there still seems to be a community around it as well, which is
Yeah,
interesting.
absolutely massive communities.
I know speedruns are like a thing for it as well. People like to speedrun the game as well with the different categories. I've heard at least. Well, shall we jump into the replay then and learn
Sure,
about
man.
all the different parts of Binding of Isaac? Sounds
Or
good
at
to
least
me.
all the different parts that I encountered on this journey.
Exactly. Great. All right. Let us queue up to 0 seconds, and I'll do a countdown. 3, 2, 1, go, and we'll get going here.
Okay.
3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, straight away, kind of full disclosure, what I do at the beginning is kind of restart until I have an item that isn't terrible.
Ah, okay, the starting
because
item.
I know that I'm going to have to do everything and beat all the kind of bosses before the half-hour mark in order to kind of achieve my goals, so I don't want to start with an item that's rubbish to begin with.
Good. Okay,
So-
looking for a good. So this first item is what you're talking about, or is
Yeah,
it?
this is
Okay.
this is the speed ball, which kind of makes you faster and makes your shots quicker. But I took it because I didn't want to wait for an item that was brokenly powerful, because it would make it seem a bit less impressive. So I wanted to just go for something that's useful in any way. And so the speed up is definitely useful because I want to be moving fast to make those times.
Yeah, sounds like a good one.
So what I just picked up there was a pill. There are pills in the game and they're random. You don't know what effects they are until you actually take it, and they can be bad or good. They can actually make you slower. They can remove remove a heart from you, make your shots kind of less frequent, or decrease your shot rate. But I just take it straight away because it's the beginning of the run, and the more you take, the more you know what that pill does for this run. So if you take a red pill, you can see that it's kind of, I don't know, fire rate up or something like that, and so you'll know what every red pill is from that point on.
See, to me, like as far as a roguelike goes, that's like an unidentified potion
Yes.
or something
yeah,
like
definitely.
that. And then you have to use it to find out what it is, and then it's like, okay.
There is an item called the PhD, which lets you see what they all are straight away.
Okay.
Oh man, there's so much. Okay, so the slightly darker tinted rocks with a little X on them that I just blew up sometimes give me soul hearts. So I'm definitely, as a source of health, that's what I definitely need. And when
Right.
this floor began, because I'm on hard mode, it makes something called curses more frequent. So there's a tinted rock on the left now. I'm just about to bomb it, but curses are kind of like handicaps for each floor. So for this one, I got Curse of the Unknown, which means I don't know what my health is. You see this
Oh.
kind of question mark by the heart on the top left?
Wow, a curse in every room for hard mode? You
No,
said?
it's just more likely that a curse appears per floor.
Oh, okay.
So this is the boss I've rolled for the first floor is Pestilence. Quite easy, not a problem. Also, each floor, they come in two. So you have the basement 1 and 2, the caves 1 and 2, the depths 1 and 2. Now each floor, as of Afterbirth, has 2 alternate floors that you could roll instead, which are generally harder. And so Burning Basement is the hardest version of the first floor.
Oh,
which is
I
what
see.
started it.
Okay. Good to know, actually.
Pestilence there kind of sat on top of a rock and fired his spread directly into it, so it's rarely going to hit me. But I think I did take some damage in that fight. Typically, you get hit, you lose half a heart, but some enemies, especially ones that are a different color, they're known as champions, and they can have wildly different effects. Like some explode when they die, some fire, some do double damage, stuff like that. And champions are more frequently appearing in hard mode.
Yeah, I don't remember there being champions when I played. I don't know if I have not played the updated graphic version yet myself. So I guess, what version would that have been? Wrath of the Lamb, I guess, maybe.
Wrath of the Lamb was DLC for the original Flash Binding of Isaac, and that did add champions, yeah. But everything that
Oh.
was added from Isaac and its DLC were carried forward to Rebirth, which was the remake.
Okay. Okay.
And now I'm playing Rebirth with the Afterbirth DLC added to it.
Okay.
So, generally, to make yourself as powerful as possible, you'll want to go into every room, pick up everything you can.
Yeah.
Here I'm bombing the pots to hopefully get some coins and access the contents that they were hiding there. And what I just did, because sometimes when you bomb pots, spiders will come out, I don't really have time to be killing them, so I just kind of... Additional enemies that come out of pots and stuff like that weren't part of the original room, they'll despawn if you just walk out and
cool.
walk back in. I bombed that dead shopkeeper there because he had coins in his eyes, which means he's far more likely to drop coins upon exploding.
Ah, okay.
So yeah, the kind of the grim subject matter of Isaac kind of showing here. I know some people have issues with that. The mix of toilet and gore humor with kind of Christian references, I personally quite enjoy it. But
yeah, initially, like, I thought it was kind of like a little bit weird, I guess, in lack of a better word. But like, if you just play it, like, you start to realize that it's actually a pretty cool style. I found actually.
I know some people that even people with a kind of very toilet humor based sense of humor found it really repulsive.
Well, like, I think what it is like the character, it kind of grows on you.
Yeah,
is what it is, I guess. So like, why don't we talk a little bit about the story, I guess, since you wanted to talk about that. So you're trying to escape you're in a dungeon that your mom put you in, is that correct, or something like that? Or
I think Isaac's mother is kind of delirious and thinks she's been commanded by God to kill her son Isaac, which mirrors the Bible story of Abraham being asked to offer his son Isaac as a sacrifice to show his devotion to God.
Oh, wow.
Were you not aware of that?
I did not know the religious element there.
Right, yeah, before Abraham was going to sacrifice Isaac in the Bible, he was bound, hence that episode known as the Binding of Isaac.
Okay.
Eventually, in both the Bible and this, God, I don't know, changes his mind or something quite capricious, says he doesn't have to and that he's already proved his devotion and the fact that he was willing to do it. Just briefly here, because I killed the boss without taking much damage, a devil room appeared, and you can trade your life to make a deal with the devil and get a powerful item. Now, because I want to fight Mega Satan, that means in order to do that, you have to have killed 2 angels, and if you take a devil deal, you won't be able to go into an angel room.
Okay.
This must sound just very bewildering.
There's a lot of catches with like what you do.
Yeah, and that's why that's one of the other interesting things about this run, or might make it impressive, is the fact that it all had to come together, and there was a chance that I would never see an angel room, which means that it would have just been a failure. I wouldn't have reached that objective, just been kind of screwed out of it. What I'm doing now is I bombed a wall that had 3 adjacent rooms to it because there's a high chance that there'd be a secret room. I bombed the wall to the right now because I thought it would be in there, and it wasn't. Now this is... Because I'm on the clock and I should be hurrying, that was kind of a very suspect choice. I mean, I wanted money because shop items generally cost 15 coins, so I wanted to be able to buy something from a shop that's usually quite good.
And you still got a low amount of coins, like, pretty much, right? I mean, 16 is enough to get 1 item, but
yeah, definitely. So it's worth
still
going
starting out here
once you have 15 coins, but generally, I don't have enough time to be doing that, so it was kind of very questionable decisions. I'm picking up some tarot cards here. Justice just dropped some items. The World lets you see the whole map, which I think I'm going to use it, yeah. What was I talking about? The story, yeah. So, the first time you reach the end of the Binding of Isaac, the last boss is just Isaac's mum, and you beat her and the kind of story ends, or seems to, but after that the game opens out and you get an extra floor known as the Womb, in which so more and more as you unlock more things and more endings, it becomes quite clear that, or at least it's implied that Isaac was never really chased by his mother with a knife, and that he's kind of just, he may have been abused, but he wasn't, he's kind of dreaming this stuff up, and these enemies are kind of his drawings. And, yeah. And that he's kind of just... I was just reading the chat then. So yeah, I'm not really sure how far I want to go with the story spoilers, but the idea is that Isaac's kind of delirious and detached from his own reality and starts imagining himself as kind of an angel, and that's why it's kind of his kind of religious fantasy, basically, or delirium.
That's where they decided to take it. I see. Okay.
Yeah. So what I just found in that item room was the Satanic Bible, and that's a really useful item, especially for the character Blue Baby, because every time I use it, it will give me a black heart that you can see up there now. You can see my health now.
Mm-hmm.
And but you can see next to the item there's 6 blips, and so every room I'll get another kind of charge back on that, which means I can give myself another heart now every kind of 6 rooms I clear.
Okay, so you're gonna mass up health.
Yeah, or at least kind of stave off death. When you're playing Isaac, you want to... The item room with the gold door is your number 1 objective. You have to get in there, otherwise... Yeah, so you always kind of keep a key on you because you want 1 spare in case you can make it into one of those doors. Now what I buy here is Pandora's Box, which has a different effect no matter for which floor you're on. And because I'm on the caves 1, it means it will just drop another item, so I'm just paying for a random item at that point. And what it dropped was the Magic Mushroom, which is all stats up, which is very useful because it'll increase damage, which is what we want overall. It gave me another heart too, but I instantly took a health down pill afterwards, which kind of removed that. There's some disagreement actually as to whether, when I took the Magic Mushroom, it increases Isaac's size too. And I'm calling him Isaac because I just forget he's called the Blue Baby, but
yeah,
Isaac,
that's fine.
because it's implied that all the characters are just Isaac wearing different wigs anyway.
Okay.
But it's argued whether or not his hitbox increases size when his sprite does. And it does seem like it to me, but I can't be sure.
Okay.
Because there are items that make you smaller as kind of a bonus.
Yeah.
So this is Chad. He's quite straightforward. He just charges at you. You can drop a bomb in his mouth as he attacks, like a Dodongo from Zelda.
Yeah. Did the bombs do more damage than?
I think so.
Way?
Yeah. I mean, that was a far from stellar performance. He hit me like 3 times, but I'm just gonna soldier on. There's an annoying habit of I wouldn't say it's a habit, but there's something which can occur when you're shooting a boss that's kind of charging at you, which is you'll shoot and kind of dodge in one direction, but your shot will knock it into the direction you're dodging. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it. So I just walked into a boss challenge room. You can enter them if you have less than 1 red heart. So the Blue Baby can always enter. I decided it was worth the time to take on the 2 waves of bosses it's going to throw because of the item inside, which is the Sad Onion, which makes you cry a lot. So more tears equals higher rate of fire, basically.
Did you know you were going to get that onion, or is that the item you got in this case?
Okay, so when I walked in the door, I could see the item on the pedestal. Now, the door doesn't close and trigger the challenge unless you actually pick up the item.
Oh, okay.
And it's not always an item, it could just be a general like grey chest, which is kind of quite low reward, and it might not be worth it unless you have a lot of health or time.
I see. I like how they give you that option to pick it up or not pick it up, so you're constantly trying to think about what you want to do.
Kind of decision making to happen. And another thing you saw there, when you lose a black heart, it damages every enemy in the room.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So that's another reason the Satanic Bible is quite strong. I mean, in the early game it can pretty much kill most enemies. In the later game they can withstand the shock of a black heart. I picked up a battery a couple of rooms ago. When you pick up a battery, it instantly restores your main item, known as spacebar items, because that's what activates it. Oh, and another, for in case anybody should have told this at the beginning, but the controls of this game, like by default, are kind of WASD, moves you, and the arrow keys shoot in whichever direction you're pointing.
Okay, yeah.
It does have kind of full controller support though. At some point as well, someone came to the door while I was playing this, so that'll explain at least one of the pauses.
Oh.
I mean, but as I say, it's not an arcade game, so.
How many attempts did you try to go for to try to get this run? Like, were you trying to go for this run for a while, or?
Yeah, maybe like 3 or 4. I got quite far with incredibly shitty items and didn't get any better luck. Just kind of hoping that I could prevail, and it'd be more impressive to do it with worse items. But eventually, my damage was so poor. Like my damage had not increased at all after about 5 floors, and I just knew that I wouldn't be able to make the time requirement. That's the real killer. So in the item room, there's a donation, or like a reroll machine that you can spam coins in, and it may give you something better. And usually I wouldn't bother, but I just thought, well, I'm not really going to spend those coins on anything else. I may as well try and get a decent item out of it. This is Gertie. She generally just spawns things and fires. This version seems to spawn particularly violent boils behind her that you can't really see past her sprite, so kind of additional shots are flying out. Pretty okay, my first angel room has appeared because I haven't taken any devil deals, and there's a chance it spawns. It's more likely to spawn if you don't take red heart damage, which means Blue Baby can more easily get in. And bombing blue fires can reveal soul hearts, which is why I was bombing all of those. If you bomb the angel statue, it comes alive and aggroes and attacks you. And it can be quite challenging because that spread, not the spread, the beams, the white beams, there isn't really, it doesn't telegraph which direction they're coming out.
Oh, okay. So you can just kind of get screwed over.
You can, yeah. Some of the your hit invincibility isn't that long, so if you're kind of stuck inside a beam, you can end up taking double damage from it.
Oh, I see. Okay.
There's a boss called Krampus that's a real problem with, but I don't think I meet him.
So you get the aura now. What was the aura from? Was that from the angel room? Something in there?
Yeah, that was an item I picked up in the angel room. That deals a small amount of damage to any enemy inside it, and it also has a low chance of reflecting bullets that are fired at me.
Okay, cool. That's a nice one.
Yeah. Now these masks and hearts are pretty harsh. They you have to kill the heart to take out the mask, and the mask generally chases you around the room, and they can be real bastards. I'd say the Blue Baby is probably the 3rd hardest character to use. The other 2, there's one called the Lost, which is kind of quite controversial in how difficult it was to unlock, and the Lost doesn't have any health, so will die in one hit, and it is bullshit trying to do that.
Man, what's the Blue Baby's disadvantage?
The disadvantage is not having red hearts, which are far more common.
Oh, okay. I thought that was that's not an advantage.
No.
Because they just go because they go away completely. Is that what it was? When you lose a blue heart? Okay.
Yeah.
I see. Okay. And then the red ones are refillable. Okay, gotcha. But you're doing good on blue hearts right now.
I'm doing pretty good, yeah. A lot of it's to do with knowing how to find them, which is bombing tinted rocks.
Okay. I got it now.
I got quite a good payout in the angel room by having the kind of blue fires on the outside, which you can spend bombs basically to try and for a chance to get blue hearts.
Okay.
What else? Oh, and I just picked up this thing called infestation shot, which means that when I kill an enemy, one of these blue spiders is left behind. So already, you know, at this point, surviving this long and being able to get into the item rooms has given me quite an impressive loadout.
Yeah, it looks like you got a good setup right now.
I mean, yeah, the blue spiders, once you get enough of them, they really pack on the damage. And if you have something like a... Oh, at this point I just forgot about coins completely and think I can buy something despite not being able to afford it. But so, so for a boss like this, the blue spiders destroy it, because every time I destroy one of those smaller poops, a blue spider will appear.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's like 15 of them right now.
And they carry on between rooms, so they'll just attack whatever they kind of come across.
And they can die too? Or...
Yeah, they come into contact with an enemy and die.
Oh, okay.
So at this point, I'm pushed for time, and so I'm going to bomb doors to try and escape from rooms without having to kind of clear them. So all the enemies will still be here, but I'm just trying to get as far as I can, find the item room if I come across it, but if not, basically just try and get to the boss. Because at this point, I've realised I don't have much time left.
Wait, you were bombing the doors?
You can bomb
that
a door
are open?
to escape. No, that are closed, that kind of lock you in a room until you clear it, but you can bomb it, run away.
Oh.
It's just, you know, trying to get through a floor, you'll soon run out of bombs with this method. You'll see kind of speedrunners do that sort of thing.
Oh, I don't even think I even knew that when I was playing. It seems like a pretty...
remember if that works in the original Isaac.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I picked up something called scatter bombs, which kind of fires a small kind of cluster of bombs after each bomb, which was a bad move, because it means I now have to wait for the secondary blast before I can escape from a room, which is going to cost me time-wise. But what I realised eventually is that you can just nip through the door before the second blast goes off.
So you said, so it wasn't 20 minutes one of the time requirements, so what do you gotta do by 20 minutes?
I have to beat the boss of this floor.
Okay. So...
the game doesn't usually have the whole transparent map on the screen with the timer, but I keep it up there just to remind me, basically, because I was very lucky. One of those rocks contained an item, which is the small rock, which is another damage increase.
Nice.
So you can... The Isaac's mum fight, she basically stamps on you and spawns enemies, and it sometimes fires from the door. But my damage is so high by this point that she's over quite quickly.
I see.
So what I pick up here is the negative, and that means that after the floor, which is Sheol, otherwise known as Hell, it means I can continue to the final floor, which is known as the Dark Room. There's two choices of floor, final floor. One is the chest, which is kind of like the easier one with tons of items for you. You know, basically you become absolutely OP. And then the slightly harder version, which is Dark Room. And each room generally contains kind of several bosses or otherwise difficult enemies. So getting in here was my reward for arriving here before the 20-minute mark. So this is the boss rush.
Okay. Well, it looked like you made it just in time. Like, were you spending as much time as you could before 20 minutes, or were you just trying to basically just get there before 20 minutes?
I was...
Or just maybe a combination of both.
It was a combination, yeah. It was a mixture of, but I could just, check out what's here before I move on, and it doesn't, just shooting these fires to get coins won't take that long, which is very... I don't have the speedrunner mentality. I mean, you should be shaving off as much time as possible, surely, and then kind of, if you have time on the final floor before the deadline, then you can kind of look for some extra stuff, but I didn't manage that very well. Getting there just in time is kind of a theme for this run, I think.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So, some of the rocks contain soul hearts up at the top, so that's nice. I mean, at this point, I'm kind of quite nervous because I have the Curse of the Unknown again, which means that I don't know what my health is.
Mm-hmm. What's the what's that green gauge on the top left by the Bible?
That is how many. That's the charge on that item. So with each room, or with each wave of bosses in this room, the item will recharge a bit and allow me to get a heart back.
Okay.
Oh, so it looks like I got 2 blips of charge for beating 2 bosses, basically. And,
I see.
Yeah, that boss just kind of hurt itself by jumping into the spikes.
Yeah. It gets kind of wow. They leave like all like the guts on the screen.
Yeah,
it's pretty funny.
It's yeah, it's funny or disgusting, whichever you prefer. This combination of the rolling guy known as the Cage and the other one, the Haunt, is quite a bad combination usually. That can be a run ender, because the Haunt is now firing lasers from the top, so I kind of have to remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like I haven't really commented enough on this boss rush because it's been going by so quickly. And that's probably because of my damage and the amount of kind of small parts that the bosses have and kind of minions that are forming more blue spiders for me, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're kind of just wrecking house right now.
Yeah. I'm going for the, I can't remember what that's called, the skeleton guy in the middle, mainly because it's harder to avoid that laser, but I think he just took out the other one with that laser. So
oh
now,
wow!
yeah.
So they end up hitting each other and stuff. That's interesting.
Yeah, only bosses with lasers tend to do that, or explosives.
Ah.
The general tiers don't seem to. It's important when the worm boss that was there just now, the Carrion Queen. It's important that you kill her as soon as possible because otherwise she will lay red shit all over the stage, which damages you when you touch it. So that can be quite a problem.
It's like this literal shit.
Yeah.
In this case. Yeah, they throw quite a few bosses at you, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's like really, yeah, really a boss rush.
So yeah, that laser then that just damaged another one of the guys riding the horse-looking things, the kind of horse head on a stick. That one was Death, one of the 4 horsemen. But he just seemed to have been tagged by that laser. So yeah, I must have really got quite lucky there. Although he was probably aiming at me, and I just happened to be close enough to Death to try and take him out because he can be quite tough.
So if you're not like as powered up at this point, like is it very likely you won't make it through the boss rush?
Yeah, very likely. I mean, they tend to drop red hearts in this boss rush, but the blue baby can't really make use of them.
Mm-hmm. Because it seems like the game wants you to be done.
Yeah.
Like basically.
Well, these are all the bosses that for the most part come in the early game, early game. So, not those kind of tougher ones that will be coming along later, with the exception of the kind of angels and the 4 horsemen. So yeah, the item I got as a reward for doing that is crap. The one I got to kick off the boss rush to trigger it was just it's much like the Satanic Bible. It's the Book of Revelations. It just drops blue hearts instead of black ones whenever you use it.
Okay.
So now I have 5 minutes to beat both floors in the womb, and so I'm going back straight to my bombing the doors method again. For the second kind of time gate.
No, but now you're out of bombs.
Now I'm out of bombs, yep. So I have to fight like a man, as it were.
So what changes primarily in the womb stages now?
Oh yeah, good point. When you in the womb and beyond, every bit of damage does a full heart instead of half a heart.
Oh, okay.
And generally it gets more difficult. This is an example of what we were talking about earlier, the music, kind of, where is it? If we're down to kind of just ambient noise now. Which I think is a shame, because kind of I tend to think that later stages should have kind of more energetic music.
Kind of just going for that, like, feels like, oh, you made it, now this is, like, serious time, maybe.
Well, yeah, because this used to be, in the original Binding of Isaac, the womb was the last floor, and that had the final boss, and so the Sheol or Hell, whatever you want to call it, was added in kind of a Halloween update.
Yeah.
And the other alternate final floor, the cathedral and the chest, were added in Wrath of the Lamb.
Okay.
And
I remember
so
when I played, I think the end for me was the womb. So
yeah,
man,
to make hell start occurring, you had to beat the womb like 10 times, which I'm sure arcade enthusiasts will hate. But yeah, you just have to, because you could have beat the game, and it's like, nope, you have to do it a few more times before you're allowed to progress.
Well, it's kind of like the theme of the game, right? It's just the random elements. Like, how many times can you do it based off what the game gives you?
Yeah,
So,
I guess.
it makes sense to me.
In fact, if you had an item called the shovel, then that would allow you to go deeper.
Because I think they probably do realize that you do get lucky with the powers sometimes, but then you don't get lucky all the time either.
Exactly. Yeah. I like to race this game with a friend of mine, and while on mic, and it's like, oh, what item you got? Yeah, I've got good items. Like,
yeah. Yeah.
One of the races, one of the GDQs, one of the guys got awful luck and just got kind of rubbish.
Oh yeah.
And he was kind of mad salty about it too. But it's like it's okay, man. It's the luck of the draw. No one's gonna blame you for it.
How often does like the bad luck like really screw over a run? Like, does it?
It's not that common, because over time you understand how to kind of mix items to kind of squeeze more potential out of them, or you know how to kind of get money better so you can buy more stuff. And generally, the more items you have, overall you're going to get more and more powerful, unless you kind of pick up something that sucks, like the cursed eye or whatever it's known as. Which
seems to happen mostly when you're unfamiliar with the game, though.
Yeah.
It's like, oh crap, I got this now. Well, this is screwed.
I like to carry on regardless, usually, just in case. Now, in this Angel Room, I get Godhead, which is one of the best times in the game, I think. So that was incredibly lucky. In fact, Godhead is very difficult to even unlock for it to appear in your game. You have to have beaten the game with the Lost, the guy that dies in one hit.
Oh yeah, so I remember that. Yeah, so there's the unlockable items too.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so you unlock them, and then they will appear in later runs. If you draw them, if you roll them. So what Godhead does, as well as a slight increase in damage, each tier now has a halo around it, which also does damage. So it's kind of, I can't really miss now. And it gives them slightly more homing as well, like a tiny bit of homing. So yeah, it's very, very powerful. It's okay on its own, but mixed with anything else, it allows me now to kind of bulldoze through in the rest of the floor in this 1 minute until the half hour mark. Now, if you couple the fact that with this damage with the fact that I have these kind of black hearts and all the blue spiders, getting hit is going to damage the enemies. And I believe when I picked up the negative, which allows me to reach the dark room later, that also deals a small amount of damage whenever I get hit. So small enemies are kind of decimated, and so this is a potential final boss called It Lives, and is just taken out in seconds.
Wow, yeah, that's ridiculous.
So yeah, I mean, at this point you're just thinking, oh, you could be forgiven for thinking, what the hell is this? There's like no challenge anymore. But the challenge in Isaac is kind of knowing how to get to this point and get this setup.
Yeah.
And kind of in that case, the early levels are arguably more important than the later ones, in determining whether your run's going to be successful or not. So because I arrived here, I'm here because I managed to beat that boss before the 30-minute mark.
Oh, nice. Oh, that was pretty close too.
Yeah, really.
Wow.
Close.
And like
That's
it looked
what
like you're like going so quick with the spiders or whatever. Like,
yeah.
if you didn't have that, you probably wouldn't have gotten it, huh?
Probably, yeah. I mean, I was trying to bum doors and trying to just kind of bum rush all the enemies, but yeah, it was close. It was close. So here I'm just kind of buying a blue heart, buying a battery so I can add another black heart, just basically spending everything. Because the next boss is what some people consider to be the hardest game. What was I saying before? Shit. That cat there is dead cat, and that's usually quite a decent item because it gives you 9 lives, and if you die, you'll respawn outside the room you died in, and you have to kind of do over. However, if Blue Baby picks it up, it removes all his hearts and just leaves him with 9 lives, but with just 1 blue heart for each of them. So
that sucks.
Pick that up, yeah. I mean, I nearly did. I was just about to.
Oh. But it would have been a bad idea.
Definitely, because I would have, in all probability, taken a hit, have to do the room again. So this is Hush. This is the boss that was added in the Binding of Isaac Afterbirth.
Cool.
And people say he's really difficult, but I mean, what do you think of these attacks?
Yeah, I mean, you're doing a pretty good job so far avoiding them. But yeah, they look kind of simple so far.
Yeah, it's the kind of Danmaku, basically, like it's like to me it looks like baby mode Danmaku. So
yeah.
People that don't shmups would find this kind of quite challenging. But he does have the highest health in the game, so it can be kind of an endurance test. And yeah, it's quite hard to sometimes kind of make out where you are.
Yeah, I noticed like there was a pattern that you slipped through, and it looked like it was pretty tight, but it actually it kind of showed how small your hitbox is too. A little bit.
Yeah, I mean it's no Toho hitbox. But
yeah, it's still probably a pretty big box, I'd imagine. But and then I see you just go in the corner for that.
Yeah. I mean, this pattern actually used to give me quite a bit of trouble because I would try and kind of reflex dodge it, kind of near him while still doing damage. And a friend of mine just said, no, just sit in a corner.
Yeah.
Just find that safe spot.
It is kind of cool though that they try to realize like the more of the bullet hell patterns on the added boss here.
Yeah,
like, because like like the shmup element is like kind of present in the game, but like to actually like bring it more full blown for like a big boss is kind of cool.
It is, yeah, and for a lot of Isaac fans, it's probably the only taste of this sort of action they'll see.
Right, because usually it's like the bosses are all around. Like you have to keep in mind like what their other like quote unquote abilities are when you're fighting them. So
yeah.
I mean, here he's like burrowing and using some Toho pattern on you. That was actually pretty cool.
I mean, fighting this guy if you have a low damage output can be quite harrowing because it'll take ages. And the one we're seeing right now is known as kind of multi-dimensional tears because he's firing it off one corner of the screen and it will kind of loop back and come out of the other wall.
Oh.
That's an ability you can get as well.
Was it getting darker there as like his health was running out?
Yeah, that's right, and kind of veins were appearing all over the floor. It looks
cool.
like veins to me, yeah. So there's a choice there, heaven or hell, basically. And I'm choosing hell because it's the dark room is slightly more difficult.
That's the only reason?
Yeah.
Oh.
You can fight Mega Satan from any of the kind of final floors. And because I've gone into 2 angel rooms, bombed the angel and then killed it, that gives you the 2 pieces of the key, which I'm now kind of dragging along behind me. So yeah, it's quite a lot to remember, quite a lot to kind of.
But yeah, like definitely got a good idea of like, you know, you do gotta be like prepared and kind of know a bit about the game before you can get the setup for the later stages. Like it's good to know, like it's kind of focused on that, so you can play the game and kind of with that in mind and try to just learn as much as you can.
Yeah, you get more bit by bit as you if you enjoy the game, then it's just going to come naturally. You know, you're going to kind of learn more stuff, little tricks like bombing walls between that are surrounded by rooms with a blank space because you'll think there'll be a secret room in there or something.
It's a cool take on like the roguelike element, how like you unlock the items that help you later on, just to help the incentive of replaying the game, because I mean, the idea of a roguelike is like, you know, permadeath and that type of thing is scary to a lot of gamers, I feel like.
Absolutely.
But with Binding of Isaac, they made the right combination of elements to make people to want to come back and replay. And apparently, yeah, this game is cited to be one of the games that kind of re-rose awareness for roguelike elements. And then we saw all sorts of games like with those type of things like Spelunky and Rogue Legacy, where like
Risk of Rain.
Yeah, Risk of Rain, and it actually became pretty big fad for these kind of a lot of these indie games.
Yeah,
and,
I've been meaning to try Spelunky out.
Pretty cool.
This isn't Mega Satan, by the way. This is regular Satan.
Okay. Wow.
And yeah, by this point, obviously my damage is insane, absolutely insane.
When you were next to the foot there, it just did so much damage. Or maybe it was the spiders.
It's probably a combination of both. Another thing in this floor which I forgot to mention is I got the Curse of the Maze, which means that when you walk into a room, you might actually warp you into another one within this floor, which can be really disorienting. But at this point, I think I'm powerful enough that I'm not looking for more items or kind of searching the whole room. I just want to get in and kill the boss now. So that was the key, opening the door to Mega Satan to the north. But I'm gonna go through this floor and find the regular boss of it, known as the Lamb, as in kind of sacrificial lamb, and kill that. In that chest was an item called the Cursed Eye, which is awful. It's arguably the worst item in the game. You know, you get a Cursed Eye, you reset, basically. It makes your shot just, you have to charge it, and then it will just fire 4 tiers, like a very thin shotgun blast.
That sucks.
Yeah, and if you get hit while charging it, it'll teleport you out of the room.
Wow, that sucks.
Which means your progress is kind of fucked.
Do you ever accidentally grab an item?
Yeah, because the Cursed Eye, that just it looks like a little white pearl, so it just looks so kind of unassuming.
Oh, they try to trick you if you don't know.
Yeah.
Like you can't tell what it is by looking at it.
I mean, I'm sure it wouldn't be that bad considering the items I already have, but still, like getting hit in the final boss,
and then having to redo
it every time.
It doesn't sound like a good one.
No, I mean it's a troll item. I think. I think it has to be. One thing that most of the items that you unlock, there's kind of a balance between the useful, the weird, stuff like that. But even at the beginning, there are enough good items in the pool for a first-time player to succeed, and kind of And that was a good point you made about it being part the roguelike kind of permadeath thing, but also the progress that does carry forward.
Yeah, like
Done a good
I
mix.
do wonder, like, do people like just like to play the game without like those items unlocked, and then just like do that as a challenge as well, or?
Yeah, there are additional challenges in this, such as one called the Purist, in which no item rooms appear.
Yeah, yeah. So I should mention too. Yeah, the game has 137 in-game achievements apparently.
Yeah,
So
I
it's
have
like,
more.
is all bosses actually an achievement in the game?
No, this type of just do it all in one run, or as much as possible.
Yeah.
And isn't an actual specific
Yeah, I guess
achievement.
it's technically as much as possible bosses.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
rather than all bosses, because we don't see all bosses still. Like there's still ones that just that won't appear in this run.
Exactly. And because
Okay.
there's a choice of the final 2 floors, you can
Okay.
only go down one of those paths.
Right.
This is the TLB now.
Oh,
I
sweet.
this isn't. I don't get hit at all. Uh,
Nice.
basically, what he does is he summons the 7 deadly sins. That was envy. You've got lust coming after me there, and anger.
Oh.
they're dying quicker than I can.
Yeah,
imagine.
just ripping him apart there.
Yeah. I basically go for his hands so he can't kind of hit me with area of effect attacks. He summons some fallen angels, which are going down pretty quick. I think I have charm effect on, like, whenever my tier comes out pink, that's kind of inflicting charm status,
Oh.
which would make me attack other enemies, but there aren't any other enemies, so it doesn't really have any effect. They'll still come after me.
Okay.
This is his final form, where he just kind of fires more Danmaku at you.
Yeah. See the reflected bullets occasionally.
Yeah, yeah. That's it.
Not
That
bad.
was the Binding of Isaac Afterbirth. All bosses with Blue Baby.
Is this the unique ending to Blue Baby, or is this just the
This
ending?
is the unique ending to beating Mega Satan.
Oh, okay.
So this is kind of spoilers. I mean, he's in a chest, locked in there with his dead cat. So make of that what you will.
He is Satan? Or...
So, what did you think?
Yeah, it was a pretty good run. Well done on that.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, part of me kind of wanted to re-record it and just with the kind of in which I didn't get as lucky as I did with the items in like the second half of the game.
Yeah, yeah. There is definitely that element to it, but it's just like but the excitement though is like you do have those runs that are probably pretty close, and you just are barely scraping by, I'd imagine.
Yeah, absolutely. I've had
And
a
those are probably the ones that are like the most fun, I'd imagine, because then it's not just like you're just plowing through the final bosses and that type of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I've had a time in which I was kind of most of the Mega Satan fight was kind of just on one heart. Kind of,
And actually having to pay attention to like a lot of the attacks and that type of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I was still trying not to get hit then.
Right, right. Yeah, it's good stuff. It's definitely like for me, like like I say, I mean, I really only played the older version of the game, so a lot of that stuff was new to me, but definitely, the run definitely gives it a good feel of kind of like what's possible, like what the outcome can be like, and what can you do to help that. Like the replayability is probably the biggest
Yeah,
biggest thing
absolutely.
about the game.
And this recent Afterbirth comes with an additional mode called Greed Mode, in which it's just kind of waves all in one long room, and each wave gives you some coins, which you can then buy stuff from a shop that's right above it, and so it kind of it's kind of reduced it to its purest form, in which you can just kind of stock up straight. It's interesting. Like,
So did you end up going for a lot of the in-game achievements, or what's like
yeah, I have them all. That's why it said 1001% at the at
Oh,
the end
really?
of the game. Yeah.
What were some of the cooler achievements that you did that the game has you do?
Cool
I
or
guess
more
like
difficult?
I guess challenging or like interesting.
Beating. So each character has check marks. It's like, did you beat the womb? Did you beat the chest? Did you beat the dark room? Did you beat Hush, the boss rush, Mega Satan? And while there's
Hmm.
no achievement for kind of doing as much of it as possible in one run, there are achievements for each individual kind of goal. And there's an achievement for doing every check mark with every character,
I see.
including
Is there
including
like I wonder if people ever do like a challenge where like they try to get all the achievements as soon as possible or something like that, or try to get because like it sounds like you can get multiple in one playthrough then, right?
you can, but one of the achievements is to have picked up every item at least once.
Okay.
So that some people just will be screwed over by RNG and just not see it
Oh,
for like months of play. So I don't know, maybe there's some crazy
I see.
speedrun category that's like start to finish all achievements or something.
what's like the most impressive thing you've seen in this game?
Somebody went from the first floor directly to Mega Satan with kind of only the items that they picked up on the first floor.
Oh, wow. Okay.
There's a mechanic which we didn't even see in my run called the Sacrifice Room, in which you go in there and you stand on spikes. It takes a heart, and there's a chance to give you a reward. And it used to be random and be kind of shit rewards, but in Afterbirth, they've put in conditions such as if you stand on it 7 times in one floor, an angel will spawn. So you could get the first key piece to unlock the final door.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So what they did, they played as a new character called the Keeper, as in the shopkeeper, who just looks like a corpse, and he fires like a triple shot, but it's a very slow fire rate, which makes it, quite difficult because you can't zone enemies out by knocking them back or anything like that. And instead of health, he has 2 coins in the place of hearts, and the only way you can get his health back is to pick up a coin. And,
So,
he can never...
so as long as you hit, wait, so when you take damage, it reduces your coins then as well, or how does that work?
Not quite. I mean, that sounds better to me. No, it's just he has kind of like coin health where his hearts usually are, and just 2 pictures of coins, and one hit reduces it to 1, another hit kills him.
Oh,
And
okay.
the only way to get that first hit back is to pick up a coin.
Okay.
So what they did in this first floor was to I'll have to look up the user now actually. What they did in this first floor is they found an item called the Swallowed Penny, which means that every time you get hit there's a chance that a penny comes out. So with the Keeper, that means that you can you're potentially invincible if it pays out every time you get hit, and or if you're not hit twice in quick succession and you're unable to pick up that coin. So what they and eventually after maybe it's something like 10 sacrifices in the sacrifice room, the room just fills with coins no matter which character you're using as like a reward. And so he manages to stand on the sacrifice pit enough that he can then do it infinitely. And after 17 kind of self-harms in that room, it will teleport you directly to the dark room, the final floor. The Mega Satan door opens and he just goes right in and beats it without getting hit.
Sounds like quite the setup
Yeah.
to get that.
His name is Kraken Club.
Okay.
Guy. I'll link the video actually. It's impressive if you kind of know what's going on. But yeah, he did get lucky enough with his first room items to get something where he got exploding shots basically. So every shot is essentially like a bomb going on.
So like, how many hours of gameplay do you say would you play this to get as good as you are? And if you could approximate.
Damn man, I don't know, like, I don't know, 50, something like that.
Okay.
50 to get as good at kind of just controlling and knowing the enemies and stuff like that, but it's more going for the achievements, which can give you that kind of encyclopedic knowledge. And
yeah, because they they encourage you to try all the different parts of the game out. So.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. The maybe 50 is an underestimate. I mean, I have in excess of 300 hours on this version alone. So
Sure.
The worst trophies by far is the one that wants you to pick up all the items, because not only unlocking them, you have to have actually encountered them in a run, and that's a legitimate run, not a seeded run.
Which the seeded is like, how do you seed a run?
You can enter a seed if you press tab at the beginning.
Oh.
And you can so yeah, every run when you play it has a seed which you can look up when you die.
Oh, neat. You could replay it if you wanted to.
You can replay it, and if you're replaying it or use the seeded version, there's a little icon underneath. If you look at the screen now, underneath the keys, there's that red icon. That means it's hard mode, and under there'll be a kind of trophy with a no entry sign on it, indicating that this is a seeded run or a challenge run, and you don't get achievements for it.
Oh,
it's kind of like an
okay.
anti-cheat system.
Gotcha. Interesting.
So yeah, in order to get the final item I needed for that final achievement, I'm a complete achievement whore. I love that shit. Like, I'm
Cool.
Yeah, I have no life. I'll just fucking plug away at that stuff. But I had an item called the D6, which Isaac starts with if you unlock it, which re-rolls the items in a room, like the main items. And so I was just going around the final floor, duplicating batteries using runes that can do that.
Oh.
And, I had another item which recharges what you're holding in your spacebar slot if you get hit, and I had 99 bombs, so I would just continuously blow myself up in order to recharge this D6, the dice, so I could re-roll.
That's interesting. Yeah. That's like the achievement strategies are in effect.
Yeah, that's so you just re-roll as much as possible, and if your final floor is the chest, tons of items will appear, so if you pick them up you can remove them from the pool. So you pick up as many passive items as possible, ones that won't won't replace the dice. And it took a while.
That's interesting. Cool. Well, I don't think that'll about do it for the episode. Yeah, it's fun.
Cool, man.
Fun to watch the replay, and thanks for recording
Cheers.
it and showing us.
Hopefully I didn't ramble too much, but I couldn't really help it.
Yeah, I mean, it's designed for it, right? So.
Yeah, in fact, it kind of the run ran away with me. I'm sure there was stuff that I just didn't get time to kind of explain as it happened before it was off the screen. But hopefully it's entertaining.
I think so. And hopefully it'll get some people interested in playing the game if they've never actually tried it out. Because I think there are still people that haven't actually played this game, so I mean it's pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean it's quite chill as well, like.
And addicting, right?
Shooting, dodging, it's addictive, and it's not kind of as unforgiving as an arcade shmup, for instance. Like I could happily play Isaac and screw up and be like, it's okay, it's just Isaac.
So, do you follow like the Binding of Isaac community closely at all? Like what?
Not really, no.
Okay. Like I wonder what like is the thing a lot of people like to do. Like I do know that there's a speedrun community for the game that's pretty active, actually.
Yeah. Well, there are kind of daily seeded runs in this version. So some people
like race the seeds.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and there's kind of like a score mechanic, which I didn't even talk about. But I don't really. Yeah, it was added in this version. Your score constantly kind of decreases over time, and it goes up when you kill things and pick up.
Yeah. So it is.
I haven't never really paid attention to score because it's like a new school Isaac thing.
Yeah.
It was never in the before the Afterbirth expansion.
I see. Cool. Well, yeah, that'll be Binding of Isaac Afterbirth on Awesome Game Replays 15. I think this will be a good episode to get people interested about the game and not a bad, pretty cool run to see too. I enjoyed watching with you.
Oh, thanks, man.
So yeah, I think we did our job here, and I don't know what else to close this with.
Okay.
So thanks everyone, and take care. Until next time.
Right.
Thanks,
See ya.
Blinge.